true, though. I mean, it's me.
Hi.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to WD Carousel of Podcast. My name's Crystal.
And I'm Ian.
And today we are coming at you at late at night.
Later than I'd like it to be.
You know, because we just saw the new movie Onward, and we have thoughts and wanted to share them with you.
As per usual.
So,
we have thoughts.
Buckle in and get ready because we are trying to keep this as organized as possible.
Yep.
But again, this is late.
This is always our goal, but you never know what's going to happen. So here we go.
First things first, this is going to be a spoiler-free review.
Yes.
So if you have seen, I'll say this. If you've seen the trailer,
nothing should be new.
nothing should be new. If you haven't seen the trailer, then there might be,
Stuff. Yeah.
But come on.
Basic premise.
You have to see the trailer by now, and if not, everybody else has seen that.
Just see it.
Whatever. Yeah. Okay, so Onward is the newest Pixar movie.
It is.
And there is... basically, it is based off of the fantasy creatures that we are familiar with.
Yes.
Modernizing themselves because technology is much easier than
magic.
So,
which is interesting.
Yeah. So you come into this suburban household of, I think, what they say they were supposed to be.
Elves.
Elves?
They were elves. Yeah.
Okay, like
but they were blue, so they're like night elves. I don't know. I'm going with the
Keebler?
others.
No, I don't.
Nope.
Copyright infringement, please don't.
Please don't. Is it? Who owns Keebler? It's just Keebler. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I don't know. Now I want the cookie.
I know.
It's late.
It is. We're all over the place.
But they are celebrating the youngest one, whose name is Ian.
I know. That was something that I was... This is going to sound weird, but I have never run into like a main character with the name Ian before in any like media that I'm aware of.
I don't think so. I have either.
I can't think of it. And it was actually a little weird. Like the whole time it was a little bit weird being the character.
Yeah, first time they said it, I was like elbowing. I was like,
like, and at some point, I think during the trailers they say his name once, but I didn't really think about it. I'm like, oh, that's funny. But then like when you actually go into the movie, and it's like, oh crap, his name's Ian.
And they bring it up,
Yeah.
as you do a name.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff. But
so it's his 16th birthday.
It is.
And his mother presents him and his brother a gift from their deceased father, which, as you saw in the trailers, is a magic staff.
Yeah, and a gem that makes it work, and that's about it.
To bring back their father for a single day.
Yes. And of course, because it's a movie and nothing can ever just go according to plan, because otherwise there'd be no movie. Mm-hmm. The process like stops at about 50%. Mm-hmm. And so just above his belt line, everything explodes and it stops working, and he's just legs. Like he's just pants.
Yep.
Just pants, and that's it.
So as a normal Pixar movie goes, then they're trying to figure out how to get the rest of him, and well, just any movie in general, not necessarily Pixar.
Right.
But that is the entirety
of the concept
of the movie. So if you have seen the trailer, great, you know where we are. If not, I caught you up. Good job.
Good job all around. Let's do it.
Go team.
Go team.
So going into the
one of the categories we like to break this down by.
Well, before we do that though, I have to say,
okay,
just like a Pixar movie, there is a short.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
that happens in front of it.
And usually it's done by Pixar, and it's always adorable. And
if I could boo something at a Disney movie, it would have been this. And here's why. It is actually a Simpsons short. So we know through the Fox acquisition that Disney had, they now own The Simpsons, and that's been a big, huge thing. And this, I feel, is Disney showing that they are trying to make The Simpsons more
part of the family, question mark?
Yeah, I'm not accessible, question mark?
Yeah, and the thing that's funny about it is it's just like there's the thing that The Simpsons needs the least right now is to look more everyone
Disney
friendly. Yeah, it's just the whole idea behind the show was that it wasn't going to be for everyone back in the 1800s whenever it came out. How long has it been on? Forever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
2 billion years.
2 billion years. 65 million years ago. And
it came out before the concept of humans came out. That's why it's yellow.
That's why
and
yellow and doesn't have they don't have real hair.
Moving
the
on.
whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, the whole thing with the short is it was imagine a Disney short, like a little Mickey cartoon short, but they used Maggie, and it was just really, really weird.
So most Pixar shorts, there's not a lot of talking in it. In fact, there's not really any talking in it, and it's just visuals and all of that. And it's kind of a cute little story, but it just made me uncomfortable. It did not fit. It did not fit.
I think that it was something that I wish that The Simpsons would have just they would have done and just put online somewhere or something. It could have been cute as an independent short on Disney Plus if you're in The Simpsons area. Something. The problem that I'm seeing is they put it before a Pixar movie. That just felt sort of like a weird thing for me.
Yeah,
it didn't jive with the rest of what we were experiencing the whole time.
It threw me out of the mental space for a Pixar movie or a Disney movie.
I got back into it after a little while, but after the real movie started. But I was just so thrown off by the fact that it wasn't a Pixar short, and it was a show that is not really known for being a cute short film thing. It's just such a weird.
Yep.
And I don't want to be the person that's don't do something because it's not something that anyone else has done before. I'm just saying that this seems very weirdly off-brand. It seems like a weird branding decision. It seems like a weird creative decision. It doesn't make any sense for the audience. I just don't know why anyone that's going with their kids to see Onward is going to want to see a Simpsons short. And the Simpsons short's been dumbed down to the point where it is family friendly and not, and it's, I don't know.
Well, and like I said, this feels more like Disney trying to be so we own Simpsons, and look, we're not trying to brush it under the rug because it's too controversial. So here we are trying to bring it to the mainstream
and make it not controversial.
And it
was weird. It was just
it was fine if it was a separate thing, but not in the context of a short before.
Exactly.
The Pixar movie.
Exactly.
So like I said, if I could have booed it, I would have. Literally, I looked at Ian and was I wish I could boo this.
Yeah.
But
it was so weird. It would have been fine in any other situation. It didn't feel right.
Be mentally prepared for that.
Yeah.
Just like you had to be mentally prepared for the 20 minutes of the Olaf special before Coco. That was a thing.
These are
we moved on.
Just
you understand what's coming, so now you know.
Now you know.
But to the categories.
So if you've seen these before, or
heard these before,
however you consume our content.
Nom.
We break down the movies into kind of little categories. We just discuss them, kind of how we feel about them, and then we give it an overall rating at the end. That's just how we do, because we try to do our own thing. I don't know. Anyway,
well, and, continuity. So, first category is the visual aspect and the technical aspect of this movie.
Yes.
So, it was very well done.
It was gorgeous.
It was overall galaxy, there was a part where they
looked up into the stars,
and that was jaw dropping for.
There wasn't a single thing in it that wasn't crafted. You know what I mean?
I almost thought you said cracked.
No, it was
every detail was focused on.
No, it was very the fuel pump. You look at the fuel pump where we're standing at a fuel pump and you've got the display. And even you could just make a pretty photorealistic looking little count up display for your gallons and money. Well, instead, the liquid crystal display has little serifs and stuff in it to make it look more like it's medieval or fairy tale or something.
The smartwatch that the main character Ian was wearing was actually it looked like a smartwatch. It didn't look just like a digital watch. They were able to capture the feel of a smartwatch.
They did.
In a digital animation format.
Yeah, and managed to also make it look like it belonged in the world that it was in.
They focused on the font.
They loved their fonts. It was
they did a great job on their fonts.
Wonderful font work.
It's a long inside joke.
Long inside joke, yeah.
Oh, fonts.
Fonts. But and then not to mention just like when you even in the beginning with where he's walking in his room, there's like the dust in the air.
Oh yeah,
there's
all the little particles.
It's very volumetric. It's very rich. It's very colorful. It was the stuff that I liked about the visuals that they did in Frozen 2. But now it's a movie that I liked more, even you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's like, oh,
okay, so that's
original.
You're jumping ahead a little bit on that, but you know.
But you know what I mean, though. If I'm trying to make it more sterile, the visuals that I liked from Frozen 2 are carried over here, but in a totally different way, and in a Pixar way, where they're clashing different concepts together and creating a unique world that is just really, really fascinating.
Which is always something that Pixar is able to really do very well, execute amazingly.
Yes.
Almost everything that I see from Pixar is visually well done and stunning. And in comparison to Disney animation studios, they have to play catch up to Pixar.
Yeah.
And this just kind of shows that when you compare the most recent Disney with Frozen 2 and then the most recent Pixar with Onward.
Well, I know. And you look at with Pixar, I mean, they've been, and again, sorry, getting dorky, I'm gonna try to do as quick as I can. They they literally have 15 years, okay, not 15, maybe 10 years of experience on Disney Animation Studios.
And if you have any questions about that, we do have a podcast episode comparing the two. If you want to hear Ian nerd out hardcore,
I will. If you're watching the YouTube video, I'll put a card up there or something. It'll be fun.
But we did a comparison, and Ian just got into the
deep history.
Like his taped on fake glasses were pushed up constantly, and his pocket protector was oozing. I don't know.
Oh God.
But let's move on to the next category, which is the plot and story originality. So we gave a little bit about the plot in the overall story, which is kind of what they talked about in the trailer.
Yep.
And I will say, when I first saw the trailer come out, I was hesitant.
Same. I was like, this seems like almost too goofy.
I'm like, okay, we're going to watch it because we're doing the show and we want to make sure that we give you guys the most honest and accurate review of it that we can.
Right.
The story was amazing.
Incredible. The thing for me is I looked at the trailer and I was like, this is Pixar. I wonder what they're going to do to make this emotionally interesting.
Yeah, we were joking around, Pixar things. It's blank with feelings.
And we're like,
pants with feelings?
Where is this going? And it's just so much more than that.
The storyline itself is exactly what they kind of present in the trailer. So and that's the reason why we're not doing any spoilers really, is because there's nothing to spoil. But the movie is about the process and what they go through. It's not all of a sudden, ta-da, here's the end, shiny thing, jazz hands.
Right.
And
there's,
every step along the way, to the nuances of slight, not really, I'm not going to call it much of a spoiler, but the fantasy characters, because that's what they are, ogres and elves and pixies and all of that, playing D&D.
Yes.
Correct. But playing D&D as if it is historical.
The tabletop game is based on actual history, which was a fascinating premise, really.
It was a great way to wrap back into how the heck are they going to use that magic staff that was left to them.
Right.
And figure out how to, connect with the father who's just pants right now.
Right.
So it really moved the story forward. As far as the, like, I'm going to get into a little bit of the characters right now.
Yeah, I think
not necessarily going into, well, we can kind of bridge both of them.
We'll jump right
so
in after
the
you
next
through it.
category is the acting and casting. So the characters that you have are an older brother who stereotypically is played off as the jock or the beefhead or something like that, and for them to actually make him into the D&D nerd, that shocked me. And to have the younger brother be the one that's embarrassed with his like fantasy focused, you know, older sibling, it was not the normal dynamic that you're used to seeing.
Right. It was definitely, but it felt a lot more authentic. It felt a lot more like the younger kid, I think, really feels like he's missing an identity. And the older brother has too strong of an identity that he maybe doesn't feel like he's totally connected with, but doesn't know why or doesn't have that connection. His brother kind of embarrasses him that way. But
I mean, my brother might look at this movie and think that this is exactly how we are, because I am definitely more fantasy and strong-willed focused, and he always looked at me like I was the weirdo. So, Jake, if you're listening, shout out to you. Yeah.
Wow, she called you out. What?
Oh, he knows this.
I know.
And he's totally going to be listening in his car on his drive to work one day being like, oh my God. Moving on.
Sorry, Jake.
The mother.
I absolutely adored her.
My God.
She was amazing.
She starts out and you feel like she is going to be, you know, the sort of like not paying attention but still loving mother who is trying to be, you know, this fit woman where blah 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 and motivational speaking to herself and wow.
Yeah, she was just a great character. Great.
I mean,
she was a mom in a kids film that ended up being a character that you rooted for. She was engaged in the story. She wasn't just like, to have fun on your adventure. Like it almost like it purposefully broke every one of those conventions to try to switch things up, because it really did feel like you're just like, I'm excited to see what she does next, honestly. Like, I want to see. That was really fun. And it honestly took me, as long as we're talking about it, I don't actually know who voiced her.
I don't know really who voiced a lot of these actors, so let me IMDb this while you are filling the time.
I'll talk about the two actors that I know about right away.
Okay.
So the two brothers, right away, they were voiced by, it was Tom Holland was the younger one, right? He was Ian.
2 seconds. Yes.
Yeah. So Tom Holland plays the younger brother, and he's absolutely perfect. And then the older brother.
I love that you say the younger brother instead of saying your name.
It's just easier. I don't know why. It breaks me a little bit. I don't know how.
It feels awkward saying your name. I understand.
Like, it's awkward saying my name.
You're like, so Tom Holland played Ian.
It doesn't make any sense. So
could you imagine Tom Holland playing you?
No.
Actually, I could.
me in movie form. It's like, oh, okay, I'm Tom Holland. Let's just slim me down and give me a British accent. It's fine.
And then Chris Pratt played the older brother, which is Barley, which I thought was really interesting that they chose
that name.
Wheat, but anyways.
Yeah, and he was good too. They were both. They really played well. Like, they really worked off of each other, and they had a really good energy. The younger older brother vibe, like it just it clicked right away. And it was actually a little bit. And I'm like, oh, that's right. That's Chris Pratt. I forgot about that. Like, it took me a minute, and totally worked. Totally a great bit. Oh my god. Okay. So the mom is Julia Louis-Dreyfus, which totally works because she
makes perfect sense.
Brilliant. And Octavia Spencer was the Manticore. Okay, that actually totally tracks. And I don't know most of these other names, to be perfectly honest. Oh yeah.
Those were the two.
Wow.
Those were the two.
So Lena Waithe and Ali Wong were two random, like, they're not
officers.
Huge characters. Anyway, so point of the story here is they really are. Oh my god. Sorry, we're
Scrolling.
We're scrolling through IMDb. It's a pretty amazing.
John Ratzenberger
is just a random character. Anyway, this cast is massive and they're incredible, and you should definitely be, if you like any, like, it just works. All these characters are.
It got a
very
7.6 out of 10 on IMDb.
It's too early. We'll wait for that to change.
Okay. As you're hearing, we keep kind of jumping. So let's go to the nerd stuff.
Let's go to the nerd stuff, which
because we're already kind of nerding out over
anyway.
The cast, and the acting was fabulous, and we're just gonna move on. So D&D in a D&D world.
It was actually pretty fun.
And they actually, like, at the end, because we watch all the way through the credits, they gave a shout out to D&D.
Did they?
For being able to offer the gelatinous cube. The gelatinous cube.
You'll see it. It's fun. We won't spoil that.
I mean, I know a number of people who play D&D regularly, and I'm fairly certain you guys are going to be familiar with it, but I just love that they brought that aspect to the movie.
Yeah, they took high fantasy and made high fantasy
historical.
Look at itself and like and take the modern world and overlay it into that, and it just worked so much better than I had any anticipation. It was kind of amazing to me.
And also the way that they changed the characters, or the not characters, I'm going to say classes, but that's not helping either. I'm going the D&D brain. The genus, the
races.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So the unicorns.
Oh my god. I guess it's not really a spoiler, but it's not like a big deal because it's still gonna be funny. But they, instead of making like unicorns like the
majestic
Guardians of Legend kind of characters, they're literally like deer. They're like a mixture of deer and raccoons.
They're more raccoon than
it's so funny.
Than
like
deer.
they're like a nuisance. So funny.
And so it's interesting because when you're looking at Barley, the older brother's like leather jacket that he has a whole bunch of patches. And the patches are things like, in my head I was like, well, is this like gaming themed because he's a nerd, or is this like band themed, and on there's things like Hades and other things, and I'm like, okay, so is the Hades a call out to one of Disney's movies before, if you've heard of Hercules.
You've never heard of it.
But there's all these little things, and then even the name of the van that he drives is just, it's all like,
it's little subtle references and very there, but it's not in your face. Like, you never go, oh, they're really forcing this D&D
yeah
thing.
So like it's kind of medieval Camelot / high fantasy / teenage years,
like 80s like teen
and they even
comedy.
had like mixtapes going throughout the whole thing.
And oh god, in the van, they had like a common brand of music player. I can't remember what it was, but it made total sense. It was like Aria or something. Like, there's lots of like dumb little things like that where it was like the modern tech was overlaid with the correct kind of terminology for the era, or for the fantasy, or like for the kind of world. It was so well done. It was so well done, and that kind of brings us in. And also, the sound was really good. And again, I can't stress enough how beautiful it was. It really was like, it just was really pretty. Okay. I liked it. So our rating system. Yeah. Again, our rating system goes like, go see it. Yep. Right now. Pay full price. Yep. The next level is go get the matinee. Yep. Cheaper tickets. Yep. Rent it either, at a Redbox or wherever you can somehow stream it. Wait till it gets on like Netflix or Hulu or not really, or whatever. If you've seen it on TV, watch it. Like, it's like meh. And we never talk about this before we do it. But I'm pretty sure we know what we're gonna do. I would go see it again this weekend. I would too. I would go see it again. Pay full price. Yep. To go see this movie. Yep. I want to like start blasting about it on Facebook to all my friends to be like, guys, go.
Go.
see
It's
it.
worth it.
Yeah.
I know that the trailers made it seem like it wasn't going to be
They
as cool
did
or
not.
as awesome.
Did not do it justice.
No,
It
not at
is-
all.
It is absolutely a phenomenal film with so much more depth and so much more tongue-in-cheek humor and so much more fun on different levels that you wouldn't necessarily
I'm going to buy it even though I have Disney Plus for the next 3 years. I'm going to buy a physical copy.
Yep.
That's how important it is for me.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. I think I'll probably buy a Blu-ray.
Yep.
10
10 out of 10 would recommend.
Yep. Absolutely. 10 out of 10.
And on that note, go see it now.
Just go.
Turn us off.
And go.
And then go watch it and then come back and let us know what we missed
Yes.
that we could have talked about without really giving too much away, but there's not really a lot to give away. Like I said, it was
Right.
the journey. It wasn't the destination.
Right.
With this movie. But
Yeah. It
it was so good.
was really good.
Go see now.
Go see it.
Now,
Okay.
now. And on that note, this has been WD Carousel of Podcast. My name's Crystal.
And I'm Ian.
And we hope you have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye, everybody.